I'm Stefan, the BMW DIY guy, and are you looking to dress up your Mini Cooper and you want to change away from some of that chrome trim? Well, CT Carbon has some great options, and I want to show you how you can install headlight, taillight, and front grille trim, and it's easy to do. All right, let's jump in, let's get started. All right, y'all, this is a really straightforward project and it's only going to take a few simple tools. And it really is just the surrounds around the headlights and the tail lights and around the grille itself. They're all held in by little plastic clips and other bits and pieces, and it really is a straightforward project. So all the tools you're going to need are going to be listed in the video description below. So if you have any questions about that, there also will be a link, of course, of where you can get these yourselves. Now, I'm really looking forward to this project. Sometimes I've gone other directions. I've gone from black to chrome. In this case, we're going from chrome back to black, and it really, on this blue Mini Cooper, it really ties in with the rest of the black accents on the car. So this is a really easy install. Let's walk you through it. Let's go ahead and jump in and get started on the headlights. All right, guys, so as we go through this, I'm just going to show one side, at least in this case, on your surround around your headlights, because it's going to be the same process on both sides. Now, as you can tell, the hood is up, and this is really, really simple. There's just a series of little clips that you can press on, and you can see it start to back away, just like that. So as far as taking this trim off, it's about as easy as it's going to get. So go ahead and just walk right around, ease every single one of those little clips off, like that guy right there, and then this trim will come off, just like that. So go ahead and grab the new one, and we'll snap it into place. All right, y'all, so there's really only one orientation that these goes in. So at this point, because the hood is up, the bottom of the hood is at the top, if that makes sense. But this new trim piece, the narrow piece goes at the nose of the hood, and the wider piece goes at the back. So I'm gonna hold it into place right now, because you're just gonna press it into place. And you can see where all of these clips line up all the way around with all those clips you just released, right? So that would make sense. So just very gently press it back into place, secure all those clips, and then go ahead and do the other side. All right, so we replaced the trim on both sides. So just a quick look before we do the trim around the front grille. Really like the way this looks. So you just slide it into place like I mentioned, and then just kind of pull down, and the clips on it will make a good click sound as it secures into place. So make sure that they're on good and solid. All right, so now let's go ahead and take off the trim around the front grille. All right, y'all, so now the front trim has a whole series of pins and little circular loop clips that go all the way around. On the top edge, the loops are on the bottom of this trim, and there's little pins, little pin levers that come up and connect all the way around. Underneath, there's also the same loops, but they're on the top edge as well as we go around. So what you're gonna wanna do is take this off carefully, because what you don't want to do, now if you're taking this trim off and you're not worried about it and you break it, well, I mean, if you don't care about it, that's one thing. But what you don't want to do is break how it connects to the car. So we've got a little bit of gap on this side. As you can see, it's already starting to come loose a little bit. The secret for that was getting a plastic trim tool up underneath to get a little bit of gap where you can start to see right there. You can see these little clips that come in and that are starting to hold it into place. Because we're going to start from the top and work our way around. So once I had a little bit enough of a gap, you get a right angle pick tool in between the trim and the body of the car, where those little clips are, and you can push those clips down and work your trim tool up and around. As you can see, it starts to work its way loose as we go. And I've already worked some of these loose as it comes around, but you're going to want to work this all the way down the trim so you get around the corner. All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and get caught up here. So a couple of things here really quick. You're going to want to take your license plate off. Normally, whatever screws you have to hold your license plate on, and then you've got two screws that hold the box on itself, because the way the trim goes back behind the box, you're going to need to be able to get to it, and that box is in the way. They were T30s holding that box on. So we'll put that back when we're done. As you can tell, all the trim is off. Now you've got this whole series of clips that we mentioned. Now when you can pop the top a little bit more easily, you can get that gap, but I'll be honest, the bottom is really, really tight, and this is going to be a bit of a challenge. So you're going to have to ask yourself, do you care about the existing trim? Because if you don't care as much, you can apply a little bit more force. You're probably going to break some of the little plastic loops off as you get this around. But what you don't want to do is break the bumper, anything on the bumper cover, like all the figures and stuff like that. If you do care about that trim, or you plan on putting it back on later, you're going to want to go very, very slowly. I found, so across this bottom stretch, you've got all these loops that come about every 4 inches or so. You've got a little loop that comes from underneath. I found that I have a 90-degree
pick tool and a 90-degree plastic trim tool that I kind of hooked in and pressed down and ran it along this edge, which freed up those clips as it came around. Around this side, these corners are some of the hardest because you've got one at the top and one at the bottom right here. The top you get in and press this clip down, but as you're pressing down pressure here, you're also applying kind of the opposite kind of pressure that you need for the loop that goes underneath here. So it's a bit of a challenge. You can take a narrow screwdriver. You can see the little locking tab right here. This is what goes into the loop under the trim. You can take a narrow flat screwdriver and press down on that tab. You can get your plastic trim tool in on this side to try to get the loop off the hook on this side. But it is a bit of a challenge. Like I said, if you don't care about the trim, you can be a little bit more forceful with it, because if you break any of the loops, it doesn't really matter, right? You just don't want to damage your bumper cover. Now, putting it back on is going to be very, very simple. You're just simply going to just pick the new one up and press it straight into place. All the little locking tabs and all the loops will go over the top of all of these. Putting it back on is just cake after a little bit of a challenge of getting the existing off. All right, so let's get that on. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, guys, so like I said, it just snaps right back into place. Really super simple going on. I love the way that looks. This really is, I think, a really big difference in changing from the silver chrome to the black. Looks really good. So now we've done the headlights. We've done the front grille, so let's go back and do the taillights. All right, so the last thing to do is to trim around the taillights. This is really super simple. There's a couple of little locking tabs that go all around the top, and then there's 2 locking loops at the bottom. But if you just take a plastic trim tool, get this top free, and as you can tell, it's already completely loose. You get it up underneath to get this first little locking tab off, and then just walk the tool around. And the whole thing, I mean, literally will just pop off right in your hand. So super simple. So go ahead and take the new one, snap it straight back into place, do the other side, and you're all done. All right, guys, so as you can see, it's all done. You just snap it straight into place, super simple. So forgive the afternoon sunlight here. The shadows are a little severe, but I really love this black trim. It really ties into the car, I think, a lot better. You've got the black on the mirrors. Now we've got the surrounds on the headlights as well, and all around the front grille. So I think CT Carbon has done a fantastic job with this trim, and as you can tell, this really isn't a hard install really whatsoever, and can make a really dramatic visual difference on your car. So definitely check it out. So go ahead and clean it, put your tools away, you're all done.
All right, guys, go ahead and clean up and put your tools away, and you can tell this really isn't a hard project, and this is something you can do really easily yourself. It really dramatically changes the exterior look of this Mini Cooper, and I really like that blue on black, and it ties in with the rest of the accents. Thank you to CT Carbon for making such a fantastic product, and don't forget the link for this is in the video description below. While you're there, please click like and subscribe. It makes a huge difference to my channel, and I have a ton of content coming that I can't wait to bring to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.